Hello and welcome again to the lectures on state space approach to control system analysis and design. Today the topic of our discussion is the second part of the lectures, solution of state equations in that chapter, and today the topic of discussion is methods for determination of the state transition matrix. We had seen in the previous lecture that both the time response solution, zero input response or the zero state response, they required the knowledge of state transition matrix. So obtaining the state transition matrix is an important step in determination of time response of the system. And so in this lecture we introduce with examples some methods for determination of state transition matrix. So there are several ways, popular to unpopular, computationally intensive to less intensive, suitable for hand calculations and suitable for computer calculations. Multiple methods are available. We will discuss a few popular ones from those. One can refer to this reference by Clef Moller and Charles Van Loon, 19 dubious ways to compute the exponential of a matrix, which appeared in Siam Review in October 1978. 25 years later, the same authors have brought up again the review in 2003. One can refer to this, or in the textbook, numerous methods of computation of state transition matrix are available. So we consider first the method based on infinite series in AT. We have seen in the preceding lecture that phi t, or the matrix exponential e power AT, in case of linear time invariant system, was expressed as identity matrix plus a times t plus a square t square by factorial 2 and so on by this series. We note in this that each term, the kth term, is at by k times the previous term, the k minus 1th term. And this gives an easy way of obtaining the successive terms once the previous term is known. So this method, although not very efficient, is suitable for computer calculations and of course also for pen paper calculations. So using this we can determine phi t, and this is demonstrated by an example in the next slide. However, this method, as we will see, does not give the state transition matrix in closed form. We come to the example. We take this system in which the system matrix A is this. It is available in the companion form here, 0, 1, minus 3, minus 2. And hence the state transition matrix phi t will be identity matrix. This is identity. This is A matrix, A times t, plus half A square t square. This is A square into t square and so on. And one can evaluate by obtaining this A square, multiplying with t square, multiplying A with t and taking some other terms also, that phi t will be obtained like this. So the way to verify whether the calculation is correct or not is to substitute t equal to 0 and to do a first check that phi t should be identity, which is happening here. So one can evaluate like this. As it was pointed out earlier, this phi t doesn't come in a closed form. This is not a closed form. We see another method which is based on the Laplace transformation. So if we take the Laplace transform of the given state equation x dot equal to x plus bu, all its term, x dot gives this S times identity matrix times xs, thus Laplace transform of x, minus the initial state x0, which is equal to a times xs. A is time independent, so a times xs, the Laplace transform of xt, and b times us. Us is the Laplace transform of ut. And in this we can take axs on the left, x0 on the right, and we will get si minus a xs equal to x0 plus bus. And we pre-multiply all the terms by si minus a inverse. So here it will give xs, x0, it will lead to si minus a inverse x0, and then this one pre-multiplying by si minus a inverse gives this one. So we get this as xs. And if we take inverse Laplace transform of all the terms, we will get xt. Inverse Laplace transform of xs is xt. Laplace transform inverse is denoted here, and inverse Laplace transform inverse of this is denoted here. We see that it has so much resemblance with the expression for xt, which we had written earlier, xt equal to e power at x0, etc. We see that this appears such that we can easily write this phi t, e power at is phi t. This phi t is equal to Laplace inverse of si minus a inverse, or Laplace inverse of phi s, where phi s is si minus a inverse, and it is called as the resolvent of A. So what one can do is, one can obtain, given the A, one can obtain si minus a, then one can obtain the inverse of si minus a to get phi s, and then one has to take the Laplace transform inverse of phi s, and that will give phi t. Once phi t is available, then xt can be evaluated. So for an example, we consider a to be this 0, 1, minus 2, minus 3, and in that case si minus a will be s minus 0, which is s, and this minus 1 becomes, this minus 2 becomes 2 after subtracting, and this gives s plus 3. So si minus a gives s minus 1, 2, s plus 3, and its inverse is obtained as this, where this is determinant s square plus 3s plus 2, in this case also its characteristic polynomial. Now we express the terms of si minus a inverse as this, and subsequently in partial fractions, each of the terms. So taking the inverse Laplace transform becomes easy. So we get phi t equal to this. Just to build up our confidence that the things have been, mathematical manipulations have been done correctly, we also obtain phi dot, which is this 2e minus t gives minus 2e power minus t, and so on. And then we evaluate phi 0 and phi dot 0. So when we evaluate by substituting t equal to 0 here to obtain phi 0, we'll see phi 0 is 2 minus 1, which is 1, 1 minus 1, which will be 0, minus 2 plus 2, which will give 0, and minus 1 plus 2, which will give 1. So phi 0 comes as identity matrix. And phi dot 0 is minus 2 plus 2, 0, minus 1 plus 2, 1, 2 minus 4, minus 2, and 1 minus 4, minus 3, which is same as A. So phi dot is A phi, and phi dot 0 will be A phi 0 or A. So we see that phi 0 comes as identity, phi dot 0 comes as A. So it gives a confidence that this phi t has been evaluated properly, although it is not necessary that it will hold that way. It just gives an confidence to our computations. The next method is by converting the given matrix into diagonal or Jordan form. So we are given with the state equation. We can search for an appropriate transformation, as it was told in the earlier lectures, how to obtain a transformation which converts the given system matrix into diagonal form in case of distinct roots and Jordan form in case of repeated roots. We can apply those methods, obtain the transformation, and convert the system into either the diagonal form or the Jordan form, depending upon the situation where the roots are distinct or the roots are repeated. Expressing the matrix exponential for the diagonal and Jordan form matrices is simple. So this method. So what we do, x dot equal to ax plus bu has been converted into either the diagonal or the Jordan form through this transformation. And of course, in the transformed system, A bar, the system matrix, is related to matrix A like this. A bar is V inverse AV. So the solution of Zt is phi bar into Z0. Phi bar is the state transition matrix for this system, the diagonal or the Jordan form system, which is very easily written. If the eigenvalues are lambda 1, lambda 2, etc., then phi bar will be a diagonal matrix e power lambda 1 t, e power lambda 2 t, etc. And if it is Jordan form, then a1 will appear here for the repeated roots. So phi bar t is easily written. So xt will be, because xt is v times zt, so xt will be v times zt, which is phi bar z0, phi bar z0, and z0 is v inverse x, so v inverse x0. So xt is v phi bar v inverse into x0. V phi v inverse x0. So by converting the system into diagonal form, we obtain the state transition matrix for the diagonalized system, and then by pre-multiplication by V and post-multiplication by V inverse, we get the state transition matrix for the original system, the phi t. This is demonstrated by an example, fourth order example. This system matrix I have taken from the textbook by B. Friedland, Control System Design and Introduction to State Space Methods, 2005 edition. The diagonalizing transformation matrix is this, and its inverse is this. And so the A bar, the matrix converted to diagonal form, which came by this matrix operation, V inverse AV, is this diagonal matrix, in which the diagonal entries are -1, -2, -3, and -4. Once that A bar is available, then we can write phi bar as this. Phi bar is also a diagonal matrix, and the diagonal entries are the e power lambda t in that form. So e power minus t, e power minus 2t, e power minus 3t, and e power minus 4t. That is the matrix phi bar. And once phi bar is available, then phi t is the transformation V pre-multiplying phi bar and inverse of V post multiplying that. So we get phi t as this. Now every time I suggest once we obtain phi t, then we should at least check that phi 0 is an identity matrix. So we do that by substituting t equal to 0. We obtain this diagonal entry, this entry as 4 minus 3, which is 1. This will be 3 minus 3, which is 0. 2 minus 2, 0. 1 minus 1, which is 0, and so on. That is the least one can do after computation to be confident of mathematical manipulations, which are generally prone to errors. Now, there is another method which is based on system modes. So if eigenvalues of the system matrix A are lambda 1 etc. up to lambda k with respective multiplicities nu 1 etc. up to nu k, then there is a method for calculation of the state transition matrix based upon the modes. So the modes are if the eigenvalues are lambda 1 etc., then the modes are, the first mode psi 1 is e power lambda 1 t, and because lambda 1 is repeated nu 1 times, so there are other modes associated with the eigenvalue lambda. So the other one is t e power lambda 1 t, t square e power lambda 1 t, and so on. The nu 1th mode is t nu 1 minus 1 e power lambda 1 t. Then lambda 2 is repeated nu 2 times, so it gives the modes e power lambda 2t, t e power lambda 2t, etc. And in this manner we have the knowledge of the modes. Modes is the way in which the solution is obtained. In which these are the exponentials which reflect in the solution of the state xt. So the ith state can be given as these modes weighted by these weighting coefficients sigma I1, sigma I2, etc. up to sigma In. And these modes are these things psi 1, psi 2, etc. which we built from this lambda 1, lambda 2, etc. So in this manner we obtain x1, x2, etc. up to xn. All are the respective weighting coefficients into these modes psi 1, psi 2, etc. Meaning that the state vector x is represented by a matrix into a mode, and so on, meaning that phi t can be expressed as a n by n matrix into psi 1 plus another n by n matrix into psi 2, and so on, another n by n matrix into psi n. So the phi t is nothing but these such expressions, matrix p1 into psi 1, p2 into psi 2, and so on, added together. If we evaluate it at t equal to 0, we will get the STM at t equal to 0, which is known to be an identity matrix. So identity matrix will be equal to p1 psi 1 0, p2 psi 2 0, etc. Similarly, if we differentiate this phi t once with respect to time to obtain phi dot, and in that we substitute t equal to 0, we will get phi dot 0, which will be the matrix A itself, the system matrix. And this will be p1 into psi 1 dot evaluated at t equal to 0, p2 into psi 2 dot evaluated at t equal to 0, and so on. We can do similar to obtain phi double dot, which will be A square, and p1 psi 1 double dot evaluated at t equal to 0, and so on. In this manner we can go on, and what we see that we get n matrices, n equations for the n matrices for solving p1, p2, etc. and so P1, P2, P3, etc. can be determined, and so phi t can be obtained by plugging in the values of P1, P2, etc. in this expression. This method may appear simpler for determination of the matrix phi t, which comes from this expression as I pointed out earlier. Let us see with the help of one example. We take a system matrix A as -1, 1, 0, -1. We see that the eigenvalue -1 is having a multiplicity of 2, and hence the modes will be e power minus t and t e power minus t. And that means that psi1 dot psi1 is e power minus t, psi2 as t e power minus t, and so psi1 dot is minus e power minus t, and psi2 is e power minus t e power minus t. Psi1 0 will be 1, psi2 0 will be 0, psi1 dot 0 will be -1, and psi2 dot 0 will be 1 minus 0, which is 1. So we get the expression P1 psi1 plus P2 psi2 equal to phi, this. And phi dot will be P1 psi1 dot plus P2 psi2 dot. So we get phi dot equal to, substituting that psi1 dot and psi2 dot, we get this. This we have to evaluate at t equal to 0. So we do, so the first one gives phi 0 equal to P1 into 1 plus P2 into 0, or P1 will be phi 0, which is identity matrix, this one. Second one gives phi dot 0, which will be A equal to minus P1 into 1 plus P2 into 1 minus P2 into 0. So A will be equal to minus P1 plus P2, and that means P2 will be equal to P1 plus A. P1 was identity, so identity plus A, we get this one. So once P1 and P2 are obtained, so then phi t is obtained, P1 e power minus t psi1 and P2 psi2, which is t e power minus t. So we get phi t as this. So this is similar, means as we solve an unknown, scalar unknown, we are solving matrix unknowns by setting up a equation in terms of modes. We see by another example. Here the matrix is 3 by 3, the eigenvalues are -1, -2, -3, and so the corresponding modes are e power minus t, e power minus 2t, and e power minus 3t. We set up this expression for phi t. Phi t is P1 into psi1, which is e power minus t, P2 into psi2, e power minus 2t, and P3 into psi3, e power minus 3t. Differentiate once to get this expression. Differentiate once more to get this expression. And in each of these, substitute t equal to 0. So, and use the properties, phi 0 is identity, phi dot 0 is A, phi double dot 0 is A square. So we get from this one, this P1 plus P2 plus P3 will be identity. This one leads to minus P1 minus 2P2 plus 3P3 equal to A matrix. And this one leads to P1 plus 4P2 plus 9P3 equal to A square, because phi double dot t evaluated at t equal to 0 is A square. So we get this. These three equations are solved for three unknown matrices P1, P2 and P3, leading to this. P1 comes this, P2 comes this, and P3 comes this. I suggest that students can do these derivations and convince themselves that this is indeed correct. And once we obtain P1, P2 and P3, then phi t can also be evaluated, which can be done by the student. We we now solve a problem in which we build up the solution of state equation and time response of the output. So we consider this second order equation x dot equal to 0 1 minus 8 minus 6 xt plus 0 1 ut, and yt is 1 0 xt. The given initial state is t equal to 0, x0 is 1 0, and we have to obtain the time response solution of the output if the input is a unit step. So what we do is we see the A matrix, and from that we set up Si minus A. Essentially I am going to use the resolvent to obtain the state transition matrix of A. So Si minus A is this, and from that Si minus A inverse comes this much, and Laplace transform will be obtained. But before that we express each of these terms, s plus 6 by this denominator, 1 by this denominator, etc., into partial fractions. So we obtain this, and then we take the inverse Laplace transform to obtain phi t, which is L1 inverse of Laplace inverse of Si minus A inverse, which will be these terms. Each term in phi t is combination of e power minus 2t and e power minus 4t, which are the eigenvalues lambda 2 and lambda equal to minus 4. The two eigenvalues give these two modes, which we are considering in that method of solution using the modes. So phi t is obtained as this, the 2 by 2 matrix. And once phi t is there and x0 was given as here 1 0, so once this is available, then phi t x0 is equal to this one, and phi t minus tau into b is this one, a column vector, because phi is n minus n, b is n minus m. So this was single input, so we essentially get 2 by 1 column vector for phi t minus tau b. We evaluate the integral 0 to t phi t minus tau b u tau d tau, taking u tau equal to 1 because it is unit step. So we get two integrals like this, and each one evaluated will give this. Hopefully my hand calculations are correct. You can do your own hand calculations and verify that you too get this. In case you get something different, I may please be informed. So we get the integral, this integral as this 2 by 1 matrix depending on time. And we now add this phi t x0 is the 0 input response, and this is the 0 state response. We add the two together to get the solution of the state xt, which will come as this. And once xt is known, then yt is obtained as c times xt, which essentially in this case is x1t, which is this. This is the output variation with time yt. So we summarize the chapter. State equations are required to be solved for different types of inputs. So we essentially saw the example with step input, but one can do for other forms like ramp input or any other arbitrary form, sinusoidal, exponential, etc. All this is to be done for understanding the behavior of the given system. And this is essentially why we solve the state equations. The process of solution of the state equation requires the knowledge of the state transition matrix, which relates the system state at any arbitrary time t with the initial state and to the input. There are various ways of determining the state transition matrix. Each one has its own advantages and its own drawbacks or limitations. The response of the system is sum of the zero input response and the zero state response. Complete solution requires solving the zero input response, the component which depends only on the initial state, and the zero state response, the component which depends only on the input. So that completes our chapter in these two lectures. Thank you very much. See you again in other lecture.